Hello everyone, today I'm on the shoreline, so come along, we'll have some fun today. So as you see, the water is crystal clear today. So right off the bat I see something, and I don't collect rocks, I'm not into that, so I don't really know if this is anything or not. So I just found this. This looks kind of interesting. There's a mussel on the beach. There's another one here closer to the water's edge. Over here I see an oyster. It's really cold out today, but the sky looks so beautiful, and there's a plane flying up high. I don't know if you can see that far away. I like how the clouds look on days like this. There's a lot of this beach foam right now on the beach. It's supposed to be low tide around 4 o'clock today. It's about noon. Here's another cool looking rock. I think it's quartz. It's a cool one. Here's some more pretty rocks. Then I spot this one. That's a pretty cool looking one. Look at that. And I saw all these pretty colors in it. So now we're about halfway to the woods where we start the walking trail. This here is a cool looking rock. Look at that with all the stripes on it. It's kind of pretty. We've made it to the hiking trail, so we're going to go up on the path here. I like the winter moss. It has so many different shades of colors. It's so soft under your feet in the summertime. This is the hiking trail, and down at the end of this path there's a huge point where you can walk out. This is cool how this big tree fell over and into the water. This rock here is pretty cool. It has a lot of ridges on it. A lot of times in some states, I don't think it's every state, but a lot of the states have ordinances or laws prohibiting rock collecting on beaches. You can't even take seashells from some beaches. And what I didn't know is you can't even take sand from some beaches. So you got to be careful if you're going to go out rock hunting. You just want to check to make sure if it's okay or not to take, rocks or sand or seashells from the beach. So look at this. Isn't that pretty? It's got some sparkle to it too. Look how pretty that is. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in the camera. There's another couple of pieces that are really pretty. Here's a mussel burying itself in the sand there. Ah, look at that. There's another mussel in the water. Ah, how cute. Look at that. These are really pretty. They're gone by, obviously, because it's winter, but wouldn't that make a pretty dried flower arrangement? Now look at all of the shells appearing. There's another mussel over here. So now I'm getting into more of a area that has more shells. Now right here I noticed something. I noticed that this rock is kind of like glowing blue. I don't know what that means, but it's freezing out. I'm not sticking my hand in the water. It's pretty to look at though, for sure. Here's another shell, an interesting shell. Look at that. This is kind of fun. It's a little walkway near the water. Instead of taking the main hiking trail, I'm going to walk on this path and see what we can find. Oh, I see an old bottle. Or maybe it's a newer bottle. I don't know. There's a random 2x4. It's interesting. There's a crab body. Now I'm on the other side of that path. That's pretty cool looking. Got some seaweed. There's hikers behind me, so I don't know if you can hear them. Some more shells. Oh, I found the perfect shell just sitting here in the tall grass. Look at that. How pretty. Look at how the water has washed away like the beach erosion. That's cool looking. It's just a small area. It's not too bad. And next we'll go to the second spot. We're going to be at the point. We're about halfway to the point, and look at this. Look at this tree log with all these mushrooms on it. That's just a cool thing to look at. Okay, so this is where we're headed. We're about halfway there, and this is a point that goes out into the ocean. I thought this was interesting. This tree split and the bark came right off of it on both sides. There's a squirrel hanging out. Where we're going is just over this little hill. Look at the pretty sky. Look how pretty that is. I'm trying to walk with the camera and it's hard because it shakes all over the place. We made it. Look at this. Look at the seagulls. That's so cute. It's actually kind of cold here because it's windy right on the water. So the wind is pelting me in the face right now. So here's a pretty rock. It's got some pretty color and sparkle to it. Loads of seashells. I wouldn't want to come here barefoot on this beach in the summer. Look at this, how the water pushed all this up on the embankment. Just an embankment of shells. There's all these rocks right at the beginning of the point. And the point goes way out. It's all kinds of shells. Look at this, that's crazy. Look at this. This is cool. Look how pretty. There's an empty snail shell. Here's another almost perfect shell, but it's got a crack up there at the top. Tons of shells. There's a little inlet of water. I see some more shells. I don't know if I can, I don't really want to get wet. It's perfect though. Look at that. Perfect. I see another one over here. There's another one. It's cracked. It's a mixture of different types of shells. There's some cool ones over here. If I don't fall, I have to trample over some very slippery rocks. Look at this one here. It's cool with all the speckles on it. And then this one too, the seashells. There's a mixture of rocks and shells around here. That's a pretty rock. Different colors on it. It has a shimmer to it. That's interesting. All kinds of weird stuff sticking out of that rock. lobster claw. I did just spot this rock here. It's like a white and black speckled. That looks pretty cool. Look at that. Perfect. Look at that. This has the scallop inside it. I'm gonna put that right back in the water. That's another pretty shell right there. I found this pretty shell too. This here scallop, I don't know if it's still alive, but it was like 2 feet from the water, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it back in. Because the animal was still inside it. It could be dead for all I know, I don't know, but I didn't want to see it perish if it was still alive. Look at this beauty. Now, I know for a fact that we are not allowed to keep these types of shells because of the detriment to the animals. You know, animals like crabs and things, they look for shells like this. So when people take them, it leaves an animal without a shell. So our state does not allow us to collect shells like this that an animal can use. So I'll be putting this back in the water. So I just threw that shell back. Of course, a plane is going over. There's another pretty scallop. I just spotted a giant shell in the water. It's very windy, so I'm trying not to fall in, but if you can see that, that's a giant shell. We don't see those too often around here, but that's kind of cool. Too bad it's hollowed out. That would have made a fun home for an animal. The farther I go out into the point, the wind picks up. It's all seaweed here, and you can see the waves picking up. That's where we just came from, right there. I just spotted the cutest little crab shell. Got away from the water because it was just too windy. The sun is nice and bright. There's some crab shells. This is like a little, I guess you call it a riverbed. There's not much going on in here. There's not many rocks or shells on this side. This is interesting. Everything around here has gone by and bare bones, but then look at this green plant just sitting here all by itself. I love using these things in my own yard in dried flower arrangements. Anytime I see weeds like this in my backyard, I pick them for my arrangements. This is so pretty. Just looking out over where the sun is shining down. This is wild. On this little beachy section here, there's just this one plant that's growing, sticking out of the sand. As you can see, it's still quite a ways to the point of this beach section. It's really pretty here though. This is a pretty scene. Now that's a pretty rock. I don't know what that is. But that color makes it really pretty. These are kind of cool too. These are cool. And there's this one here. Where is it? It's really smooth like an egg. That's really cool. This one too. And there's this. Just pretty colors. And I looked over and I see the shiny one. It almost looks like it's been tumbled. So look at this one. It's got these pink variations in it. There's a crab shell here. It's not alive, unfortunately. I believe this is a jellyfish. I don't see the tentacles, but you can see the goo around it. And I believe that's what it is. Jellyfish. Here's another cute little shell. Look at this rock, how it's shaped. That's cool. The last time I was here, you could walk around into a big, like a horseshoe shape, but now it's all filled in with like swamp. So we've made it to the end on this side, but we didn't make it to the end on the actual point because we're blocked in. This is interesting. The tide has gone out, so it's making little wells of water in the sand on the side where the marsh is. The water's so still. There's no signs of life in it either. I don't see any crabs walking around or anything. It was probably too cold. It's so cold here, it's hard to talk. I can see like a little hill up there, and maybe that is the path. It's been years since I explored this beach. I bet this is the way. Let's see. Let's see where this takes us. There's the cutest little shell on this path. Look at that. It's perfect. That's exactly the type of shell that we should not be collecting at the beaches, because that's one less house. That's one less house for a critter to live in. So I'm going to throw this back. Hopefully I have good aim. I'm frozen to death, so let's see. And this is where I just came from. I walked through there. Okay, here it goes. Oops. Well, it didn't fall in the water, but it's really close to the shore. So when high tide comes back in, that should be floating out to the water. It looks like the path continues up this way. Apparently I missed the path completely. It's up here, which I found now. This is so random. And there's a piece of drift log just sitting there. Well, now I'm landlocked. This way is all water. So I'm gonna go this way, which goes out towards the ocean. Let's see what I can find. So this is an overview of where I'm at. It used to be a complete trail. Now it's landlocked and surrounded by marsh and water. So I might have to just go through these weeds. It's so pretty though. Look at that, it's gorgeous. I'm just noticing up here, it's hard to believe that the water comes up this high. But I bet in hurricanes and stuff it does. Because look at all the shells. And they would have gotten here by traveling from the water and all the gravel. So that's how far back the water can bring the shells to the shore. I'm almost at the end of the point. I hiked this and I couldn't make it to the end. It's way too cold. I can barely talk. I can't feel my fingers or my face. So I'm going to go back now. Thank you for watching.